a.m. Next week happening, Raising Teens course that's coming up.
And that is really one of the trainings that I'm looking forward to link to offer something like that. And I wanted to see what it looked like on your end, and then be able to say, oh yeah, that's perfect. That's what I need. And I'm kind of thinking that's probably going to be a good thing.
There you go. So Kate's my assistant. Kate's in the room with us here. She will send you the link to join our teens, Raising Teens. She'll give you a free ticket today. So come in and share the link with anybody else that you know is raising teens as well, and is available at that time. So 9 a.m. my time is 7 p.m. your time on a Wednesday night.
That might be a better time. That might be a great
there you go.
time, actually.
Yeah, which is why we are doing it at this time. Yeah, we usually do it in the afternoon. We've had one round of Raising Teens, but we're doing one in the morning so that our US clients can come in. So well done.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm excited to see what happens tonight.
Yes, brilliant. Welcome. Hello, Michelle, gorgeous girl. Lovely to see you again. It's been a while. Hope you're well.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it has been a while. I've been so busy. The neighbour next door passed away, so I've been organising funerals and everything like that with an elderly lady.
You poor thing. It's lovely to see you. We are online, and hopefully we can connect after as well, Michelle.
Yeah,
but we've got our 30 minutes.
All right. I am at work, but I'll try and listen to all of it.
Yeah, lovely. Hello, Paul. We'll say hello to you before we get going. How are you, Paul?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How's yourself?
I am good. Do you have a camera so we can see you, and tell us where you're from? Where are you joining us from?
Cool, I'll just plug my camera in first.
Yes, good idea. Deborah, you're able to put your camera in as well. Hello, Paul. We've seen you. I've seen you before, haven't I?
No, I think I've been on one other
Emotional resilience, I think. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you for joining us. Deborah, do you want to put your camera on too? You're in Brisbane, are you, Paul?
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, lovely. Is you the lucky state in Australia at the moment?
Yes, very grateful for that.
That's it. That's good. Well, welcome to our masterclass today. This is our 30-minute masterclass that we run every fortnight. We will be making these every week, but for now, it is a fortnight event. I will share screen for a little bit. Tell me when you can see my slide. Where are we? Sorry, guys. So tell me about what are some of the challenging patterns that you have noticed in your families that we can really actively work on today, because today's topic is 5 steps to overcoming challenging behavior patterns. And I love to use real life examples as we do this, because then other parents listening to this now or even after, we've got parents joining us on our private group as well. So they get so much more value because it starts to become practical. I'm teaching a lot of theory, as I'd like to call it. I'm sharing with you 5 points. I'll share with you my own examples. However, that's why I love to open the room up. So Michelle, I'm going to put you on the spot because I love you and I love your kids too. So tell me about challenging behavior patterns.
Especially this lockdown, I can tell you, even now, it's really hard because I'm working so much as well.
Okay.
I will try and say, okay, you've got to get up now and you've got homeschooling to do. I've got to go to work. But I'm finding that he's 12 and he's just distanced himself completely. Like he's just like, Mum, hop out of my room. Mum, you're smothering me. It's like he's just gone into his own little shell now, and I find it really hard. So I've gone to the doctors yesterday to see if I can get someone to talk to him or something, maybe, because boys don't tend to explain their feelings a lot, you know. Just keep them inside. So I don't want him to be like that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to share it with me. So that's very hard. I'm finding that very challenging.
So that's what you're finding hard, that he's not opening up and wanting to connect.
Yeah. Or if I'm trying to say to him, like, come on, you've got to do this schooling and all that stuff, then he'll get distracted. And if I'm not there, I'll get home and he hasn't done it, you know, and then I'm trying different techniques, but it's still not working. So I'm getting very frustrated.
All right. So when you're showing up with him, how do you show up? What's coming up? So remember, in Empowered Parenting, we're talking a lot about the intentions. We work models. We've got our TAR model. We look at what is the result that we want, and what thought do we hold? So tell me about how you've been working that, Michelle.
So obviously, like my result would be to be able to come home from work and know that he's done his work.
Yeah.
So my thought would obviously is that positive thought, like hopefully I'm going to come, or not hopefully, I'm going to come home today and he's going to have done his work. But when I get inside and I'll say, Jackson, did you do your work today? He'll be like, I've done some of it. And I go, okay, well, you need to get on and do the rest. No, school's finished now. And I said, no. I really need you to finish your maths, and then you can have time with your friends online or whatever, but you really need to do it. But he's just like, Mum, get off my back. And then I just don't want to have a big argument with him or anything. So I tend to then walk away because he's asking me to get out of his room pretty much. And then I think, okay, I'll readdress it later. And when he's still in that same sort of frame, his mind frame is still.
And where are you at with all of this with him? How do you see yourself?
Inside, I'm like, I'm angry and I'm stressed, but I can't let that out. You know?
No. And that's key, Michelle. So how you're showing up, and we're going to look at this. How you're showing up is what brings up the resistance. This is what we actively do. We come back because you even as you explained the thought and you explained the result, it was very external. It's what you need him to do, and you have no control over him.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is what we are looking at, how to uncover, how to overcome their pattern by overcoming our pattern. Because how we show up, the pattern in which we are showing up is what's leading them to be in the patterns that they are showing up in. So in order to, because we have no control over them, but we have control over ourselves, which brings us to the tip number 1. And I am going to just bring this up. Oh, sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Oh,
a bit of fashion.
A bit of fashion has come up. It was one of those notifications. My daughters use my laptop for online shopping. Hold on. Sorry, apologies for this, guys. So today we are talking about 5 steps to overcoming challenging patterns within your families. Paul, you want to share a challenging pattern that you face?
I'm just trying to think of a challenging pattern. I can't come up with one right at the top of my head. I mean, I have a little 5-year-old, but no, it's great. We, sometimes we might have our challenging moments. Hey, we need to go to the shops now. I don't want to. But it's just, okay, what do you want to do? Play. Great. So what can we play with at the shops? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Or I'll come up with something. And then I get him to go.
That's it. So it's win-win. You get your desire and your child gets theirs too. That's the goal. Because otherwise we're going to be saying, oh, let me put my child first. Forget about the shops for now. I'll do that later. I'll just focus on my child's needs, and then we are missing the balance. Our kids need structure. Our kids need to be told what needs to be done, and they need connection too. So, which is another one of our tips on this journey. Okay, can you see my screen, guys, finally? Lovely, thank you. All right, so with that, let's talk about, thank you for sharing that, Paul. That was brilliant. Deborah, do you have a challenge that you would like to share with us? Because as we set an intention, what we seek, we always find. So tell us, Deborah.
I'm here.
Yeah. Tell us about a challenge that you'd like to, a challenging pattern that you observe.
Oh my. Okay. I don't have anything that I can come up with directly, but I guess I can reflect on maybe just as raising teenagers during that time. It's been a while, but I just think that the communication, I think sometimes we as parents don't want to let go, and we also realize that they need their independence, they need a transition. And I suppose, there's no cookie cutter fix to trying to do that. Families have to work that out their own way. But I found that to be a really big challenge for me, seeing my car drive off without me in it. That was kind of a hard thing. But just understanding that transition, when you're a teenager, when you're an adolescent, there's so many things that they deal with individually. And I think that sometimes we as parents don't recognize that, even though we went through it. Yeah. Because it goes by so quickly, and then by the time you realize that there could have been something else that you could have done, that it's kind of maybe not too late, but hindsight's 2020.
So great awareness there, Deborah. What I'd like to highlight is that yes, our kids pass through all of these different phases, and we feel like we need to have all of these skills for them for their different stages. And yes, that is right. There's different strategies for every stage at which they are. But what does not change is you, the parent, being aware of the control that you have in your parenting journey with your child. So how can you feel more in control of your own self and release the need to control the external party? Does that make sense? How we can feel powerless and feel like we have no control. And a lot of anxiety comes from needing to change an external being, and especially a teenager with their hormones raging and with their need for significance and finding their place in the world. Can you see that, Deborah? Yeah,
I do actually, and I thinking about it on the terms of just saying, okay, I'm choosing my battles. I don't have to win all the time, and it's not, and that's not what it is. We are trying to continue to have a relationship.
So you said that spot on. That need to win is what we work on. Where is that coming from? And that's the real work. That's the empowered parenting journey, coming back to ourselves. Here we'll start to face with our own guilt. We'll come face to face with our own lack of, I'm not good enough. We'll come face to face with the way we were parented and the stories we were told and the limitations that we felt were placed over us. That's why parenting journey is such a beautiful journey. I love to work with parents. They come to recognize their own greater control over themselves and their own, there's no limits. We've set limits. You start to see the limitations that we have set over ourselves based on the beliefs that we take on, and we see that when our kids are rejecting us, great opportunity for growth. If they accepted us and went on like we did with our parents, I know I did in my growing up, what was asked of me, I did. I had no option to challenge that. And as a result, my parents missed out on a lot of growth opportunities with me because I didn't resist. So anticipating the resistance, being excited about the growth opportunity that sits on the other side. Be excited about the greater awareness we get to see within ourselves. But guess what? Our kids are resisting. And this is my belief. And Michelle, that's for you. Our kids are resisting our lack. They are resisting our fear-based parenting. They are resisting the limitations that we are projecting onto them. And when you're in it, it's hard to see it. So I don't expect you to see it all right now, Michelle, because you're in the midst of the muck. Do you get me? but I want you to just be open and listen and just take what you can from what, have at least 3 action steps you're going to come away with after today. Is that good, Michelle? Thumbs up on that. Well done. All righty, so thank you for that. Seeing what we have here. Oh goodness, apologies of all of these transitions that we have going on. Lovely. So what are some ways that we feel challenged, or we feel, to put that down, where are we? Yeah. Oh goodness, sorry guys, I think we've got a few messed up slides here. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to view my slides at my end. Lovely. All righty. So what you've shared with me, what are some ways that you can see challenging behavior patterns and how we start to identify our own patterns. So step number 1 is change our pattern in order to change their pattern. Where can we change our pattern? To be able to make that change, we need to take one step back and become aware of what patterns have we been stuck in, which is what gets them to engage in the pattern that they do. So as Michelle pointed out with her boy, he says yes. Is that right, Michelle? He says yes at the start to complying with your request, and then he manipulates it by saying, okay, I've done some of it, mom, and then school's over now. So, and that's it. So he has set a very convenient guideline for himself, overriding your request. Is that what you notice?
Yes.
And what's the pattern? Tell me, what pattern do you notice here? What pattern? How does your pattern feed his pattern? What is it that you are doing that keeps him stuck in his pattern?
Well, it's probably the wrong answer, but I just feel that it's me because I'm not at home, being at home present with him, enforcing that he's doing what he's supposed to do. All
right. So when you come to him with is that guilt there that you're not here?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
I'm at work,
yeah. So then there's, I'm not good enough. I'm not a good enough parent. I haven't been around, and he's struggling.
Yes.
How can you change that? How can you flip that thought?
Well, I'm taking next week off work. You
can only take 1 week, then you got to go back to work. So I don't want you going back in that old pattern. I just want you to see the energy that you're bringing to this situation.
Okay.
Yeah. So first we see the resistance.
Yep.
And then you start to question, okay, what are my fears? What are my limiting beliefs? How can I flip this thought? So going back to the TER model, thought, emotion, action, result. When you think of a result, you have a result that is geared towards him. Geared towards how your control is over you, and that your result is not, it's who the parent you want to show up as that gets this result, and not solely on how you want him to be, because you have no control over him, but you have control over you. So mastering your sense of control over yourself. Where can you break your pattern in order to break his pattern?
Well, maybe because, as you said before, I'm involved in it, so I'm not standing back and looking like that, but I need to. But because you're the outsider, can you give me any tips on what I can do then for myself to obviously get a better outcome than what I'm facing?
Question the energy, which you already picked up here. There's fear there, there's guilt there, there's not good enough, unworthiness there. That's where. Challenge that, Michelle.
Okay.
Challenge that. What new thought can you have? So you said the thought you have when you go to your son is all of these that are negative energies. How can you be looking at it in a more positive way? I work because I'm able to give my kids all of these things that I do. This nothing. This flip the guilt. On the contrary, I'm able to give my kids these opportunities.
I do say that too. Like I do say that to them even.
So
like
that's the energy you have to be going into this. You question the thought behind the emotion, so you can have a higher range of emotion. So that's as far as the thought that you hold and the energy you bring into your parenting with your boy. So then you're no longer coming from fear of he's not going to do well, he's not going to succeed, he does not have great learning patterns, he isn't finishing his work. You know, you see the potential in him and he's not living up to his potential. So unlock your own parenting pattern of how you show up. What can you be doing differently? By constantly checking in on him, you have taken responsibility of his work. Put the ball back in his court by trusting him that he can already do this. What do you need to change within yourself to trust that he's got this? This is what happens with our kids. When we are, it's like the responsibility is a ball. And when we are so focused on getting it done, or questioning them constantly about it, we've taken that ball of responsibility of this task. Give it back to them. It's theirs. We're only the supporting role, making sure that they are bouncing that ball effectively. They're doing what they need to do with it. They're taking charge. The ball's always with them. As parents, we come in and we take that ball and we want to make sure that it's done. Is it done yet? How much have you done? How much more work do you have? You've taken the ball. Give it back to him.
So if he's not doing it, then I know that that's his responsibility. So then what happens then? So
change your approach. The reason why he's not doing it, because the ball's with you. Give it back to him.
Okay.
Yeah. And allow him to have the responsibility of it. Right now, you've taken it away from him. By even asking, what do I do if he's not? You still got the ball with you.
Okay.
Focus on your energy. So step number 2 is awareness of energy, awareness of emotions. What is the underlying emotion that sits beneath their behavior? What's the emotion that he's bringing up within you? And when you're dealing with his emotions, don't minimize their emotions. Be okay with them. Don't say, oh, it's going to be okay. Oh, don't worry, you've got this. But be okay with, so what's coming up? And how are you, the parent, feeling about? So being really in touch with your emotion, being in touch with your energy, because from what you've shared up to now, sorry, I'm using you, Michelle, because you're helping so many parents. I can tell you that just by sharing, because do you think this is your unique problem? COVID? No. So you're really being the light here. So really honor to you. Thank you for asking the questions and really challenging them, because that's where the goal lies. So step number 2 is aware of your own emotions and aware of your own energy that you are bringing to your parenting, because that's what he's picking up and that is what he is resisting. When we bring in too much of fear, our kids put up a resistance. If we are bringing in our own limitations that, oh, he's not going to be good enough, he's not going to succeed in life, they feel that as a resistance. They don't resonate with that. Connect with your own greatness so that you can see the greatness in him.
Mm-hmm.
Can I chime in? I just want to ask a question.
Please.
And it's basically when I look back on certain situations, choosing my battles was one way of looking at it, because I'm going, in the scheme of things, how big is this when we're dealing with so much more? I think we put a lot of time into as parents, and we want the best for our kids, and we want them to understand that we have their best interests. But a lot of times, I think they don't see it that way. They see it as,
Correct.
being
so spot
more
on with that.
controlling,
So
trying to still control them and trying to hover over them. And that transition is an adjustment on both sides. And you're right about that.
So there's
You're
two
very right
phases to
about
that, Deborah. Thank you for bringing that up. There's two sides to that. So yes, we have concern and we have their best interest at heart, and that's coming from love. However, underlying that is, correct me if I'm wrong, is fear. Fear that they won't succeed, fear that they will not have strong relationships as they grow up, fear that they don't feel confident within themselves, fear that they will speak out their voice. So there is fear, and that is where the resistance comes. While we have the best of intention, let's recognize the fear that it comes from, and more times than not, if not all the time, those fears are coming from our own experiences, from our own childhood, from our own experiences through life. Our child hasn't had as much experience in life as we have had. And as we parent them with our best intention for them, let's acknowledge that portion of fear that's coming from our own stuff that we bring into our parenting, because the greater that proportion of fear is, the greater the resistance that we find from our kids.
I'm trying to think if there ever was a time when I was afraid. I prayed a lot for my kids, and I think part of it was the influence that they have externally. I can't control what happens when they're with their friends. I only have to trust that what I've instilled in them, how I have raised them, they're going to make choices based on values that we have as a family. And a lot of times that's not the case. I don't know. It's almost like it's not the fear that they're going to fail, but the pressure that they're going to be under is tremendous. And you want to warn them about that. You want to encourage them to stay on the right track.
So you're saying that the warning and all of them comes from fear, Deborah. That's the fear I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well,
it's there with all. It's in the best intention. Don't get me wrong. We all do this, but all I'm saying is become aware of, because when you are aware of it, it no longer is a subtle undercurrent. When you're aware of it, it doesn't have a hold over the relationship with your kids. You will find yourself, which I have done, find myself speaking to my kids about it. When my oldest was getting into a relationship and getting really deeper into, I was able to say to her, these are my fears. This is my experience in my life. This is what I'm afraid of. And she would say, like, Mom, sit down. Let's talk about those. Let's talk about the fears of you coming up within you, so I can tell you where I'm at. And this is my reality. So when we are aware, knowing that it is inevitable that we will have, it comes from the best place to give our kids the best and present ourselves as the best parents that we can be to our kids. Let's also be, does this resonate, Deborah, to resonate that there is that underlying fear, even though you said there wasn't, there definitely was?
I think you touched on something that maybe I need to, kind of process a little more.
Yeah,
because I think, I remember having a discussion once, and I for some reason, this idea of, transformation, we're both transitioning as a parent, and then the adolescent is transitioning as a pre-adolescent, their adulthood journey. And, you want to equip them with the skills necessary to succeed.
Yep.
And you want to make sure that, not so much, I don't know. I think the thing that I tried to do more than anything was, giving them advice and then letting them choose and then accepting their decision, because there's a consequence. there's a consequence, and it's going to be positive or negative based on their choice. And I think that what I it wasn't the fear of them failing, it was that uneasiness about, well, if you make this decision, I have to support that that's the direction you're going to go. And
what if you didn't have the unease?
That sometimes is a very difficult thing to do, because you know ultimately the outcome is going to be, and you don't want that for your child, but you also have to I had to allow them to experience that for themselves so that they would grow, so that they would understand as an independent person and preparing themselves that these decisions have to be made, and I'm going to let you make those decisions rather than make those decisions for you.
So why not? So I can sense a lot of fear and concern there, but my job here is to challenge parents listening to that. I know you've already been through that journey, Deborah, so your kids are older now, but other parents listening to you, you're sharing a lot of light here, is for them to decide that instead of being concerned about the consequences that you know you're going to face with, because you can see the decisions they are making, flip it and see how wonderful that I can be, or maybe not wonderful, might be too much of an extreme word, but actually feel positively about the fact that you are there with them on this journey, that they are still in your care as they're going through this. That trust in yourself that no matter what, you're going to get them through this. You're going to be there and support them and guide them. And until they are ready to reach out that hand and say, help me, Mom, you have your strength and presence. And inevitably they do. The reason why they don't reach out for our help is because we are screaming at them that you're going down the wrong path, that you are going to make wrong decisions. There is so much of resistance that comes up because of the fear, the doubt, the lack of trust in ourselves and in them that we are projecting unconsciously.
I don't know. My kids my son especially, he thought he was invincible. He thought he could do anything he wanted to do, and he had no consequences. I mean, if he didn't feel like, there's just so many things. And then, you just go, okay, well, I'm going to go with you whatever way you go. I'm not going, but what I had to do is just say, hey, it could have been better.
Fine.
It could have turned out better.
You want to believe you're invincible?
This is what we have.
Go for it.
This is what we have.
That's it.
Yeah, this is what we have at this point. No matter what, we can't turn back the hand of time and say, hey, shoulda, woulda, coulda. We just say, hey, we got to deal with what we're dealing with now because of the decisions that we made. And then maybe, hopefully, we make better decisions down the road. And I think that, that helps them mature.
Exactly. You're answering your own questions, Deborah. That's right. That helps them mature. That helps them, give them clarity on the next decision that they take.
Well, I think it actually,
and when they're ready,
I did those things.
Yeah.
But I think there was a part of me that, experienced this loss. Now, it's not fear, it was loss. That sense of, I was mom and I was into it. I all the way up to my eyebrows into it, and my heart into it. And when they started to grow and move on, and those things.
So what do you regret? I'm hearing regret. Is that right, Deborah? What is the regret as you reflect back?
Oh no, I think it was, I missed it. I missed those times when they turned to me and needed me. And even now.
Why did you miss it? Why do you think you missed it?
Because it was my life.
Okay, elaborate a bit more. So it was your life, so you were focused on it, and yet you missed it?
Well, I missed, as they were growing up, those things that they relied on me. It's like they're doing their life, and I have to allow them to do that. And even though they're adults now, I'm still mom, you know, and I don't know, when you talk about how the experiences I had as a child, and, you know, bringing some of that trauma into my parenting and that kind of stuff, there's some validity to that. But I think what I did most of all was be better, to try to do better with that intent.
I have
now,
no doubt.
whether it turned out perfect or not,
the more challenging our experiences are, the more intention we have, the greater intention we have to do more. Deborah, I'm going to go with my 5 steps because our time is up here. It was just
I know.
So
I was going to say
for you, Kate, do you want to send Deborah a link? I'm really happy to dive in deep with you, Deborah. So I really apologize for cutting you there.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. And, you know,
but take the link from Kate. She'll send you a link. Let's do that. Yeah, beautiful. So tip number 3 that I want to share with you is emotional connection. I think I did cover on that a little bit. So when we are having to assert a pattern, when we are looking to change our behavior so that we can have greater control over their behavior, checking in with the closing balance of the emotional connection is key. And how we do this is we check in and say you want to enforce something, or you want to have some limits that you know have to be set. Know that, and you're anticipating that they are going to resist this request that you're going to deny, or the correction in the behavior that you're going to put forward. Check in to see where is my emotional connection balance? How is that account balance going? There has to be a balance between the special time that you spend for that, building that emotional connection, providing that validation, that loving attention that we focus on, allowing them that opportunity to express. All of this is one side of the weighing balance, and the other side is the setting limits. They are both equal. Our kids need boundaries. They need us to set limits. They need their behaviors to be corrected. It's part of that safe growing process that they need to feel, besides the connection that they need. So if you're finding you're giving too much of connection, too much of smothering, so many parents I know want to, because they've had hard times and they're not received it in their own upbringing, they want to project all of this love and shower them and give their kids everything they've asked for. And then they find themselves in that they are left raising an entitled child. So it is very much our responsibility to know that we are doing a balance. And that was our tip number 3. Tip number 4 is challenge the challenge that you feel by your kids. As we think about overcoming them, challenge it. Why do I feel challenged by them? What is the label that I have on my child? Is there a label when you think about your child and think about their challenges? What is the label that you have on them? You know, do you see them as challenging because they are resisting, challenging because they are not motivated as much as you know they're capable of? You find that they are making wrong choices because they lack self-esteem. They have low confidence. What is that label? And flip it. There's other qualities in your child. The label that you have on your child is bringing in the energy in your parenting. Challenge yourself. Is there anything that you do today? Make sure you change that label. As you see your child, project on them, because our relationship challenges reflect back our own challenges within ourselves. So if you're seeing your child in a certain light, instead of working on them, an area you can't control, come back and say, oh, okay, I find that they are not putting themselves out there enough, or I find that that they don't feel that sense of worthiness within themselves. The reason we see it in them is because there'll be parts of that within ourselves. So let's work on that. And as you work on that in small ways, putting yourself first, doing things that are that uplift your own self, you will start to see how magically you change your outlook towards your child, which has been my journey. The lack of self-worth I was projecting on my daughter, until I started to put that projector and that focus light on myself and work on me, make me the focus. Oh my gosh, she changed. It was magic, which is what I invite you to trial out. See how you go. Use what's coming up within your child to work within your own self. Next step is challenge equal growth. How can you perceive that the challenge that you see is an opportunity for us to align with our own higher self? I think I've covered the 5 points. Let me just do one more. I've got a range of points here, but I said I'm just going to focus on 5. And this is building trust and confidence within yourself as a parent. Question any self-judgment that comes up within you. Ask yourself, how can I increase the trust, and how can I increase the trust and confidence in myself so that I can increase my trust and confidence within them? That was my tips. Tell me, what are you going to take away and run with today, Michelle?
Well, I'm going to try and flip, or I'm going to flip, yeah, and I'm going to turn it into positive, and then we'll see what next week holds.
All
but
right.
it'll hold good stuff.
Taking back control within
Yeah.
yourself. It cannot not, because your focus has changed. Your focus is not on the problem anymore, because when you look at focus is on the problem, guess what? You're amplifying the problem. Yeah.
And tomorrow will be better than today, and then it'll just flow from there.
Because your awareness has changed. Your focus has changed. You've changed the way you're doing things, which allows you to have new results. Yeah, brilliant. Paul, any takeaways from today?
I like the challenge one.
Yeah. Using it as a personal growth. I think you like that personal growth aspect of it, seeing the opportunity for your own growth.
Yes.
I love that. All right. Well, thank you, all of you. We do have an event coming up, Raising Teens. Kate, is that right? I'm just going to open that up so we can have the flyer. Kate, if you can put the link to that event, that would be brilliant. Those of you watching this on Facebook and within our group, if you would like to grab a free ticket, it will be in the comment section as well. Do grab your free ticket to this event coming up next week. We've done it once before. It was received brilliantly, and we are offering it again. Lovely. Just looking at the comments coming through. Beautiful. Well done, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our event on the 15th September. It is our mini course on raising kids. And with that, thank you to everyone joining us.